Hello, we are Soraya García-Sánchez and Carmen Luján-García from the Universidad de Las Palmas de Gran Canaria in Spain, and we're going to talk about ESP vocabulary learning strategies, the example of the online glossary. As you can see on the table of contents, we're going to start responding to two key questions. One, what is an online glossary? And two, why is it useful for ESP learners? Therefore, we will continue dealing with the objectives, the methodology, the findings, and the discussion together with the conclusions of this study. As you can see, we're going to respond to the first question, what is the online glossary? And we have considered the definition of the online glossary as a ubiquitous computer-assisted language learning task that can happen anywhere and at any time, so that students can identify concepts, add the correct pronunciation, together with different structures for definitions and also examples in context. This online glossary promotes the ESP vocabulary acquisition, which is really projected from an individual and also cooperative approach. It is also important to highlight that the online glossary is not a dictionary, but it is built by students in a context-specific environment, and as we have also said, it is created by students. The second question is, why is the online glossary useful for ESP learners? And we have identified 5 reasons. The first one is to be accurate while defining ESP concepts. 2, to elaborate examples in context. 3, to develop written and lexical learning strategies. 4, to share terms among the ESP learning community. And 5, to visualize and also help others visualize new emerging concepts from their fields. Now, here we wanted to introduce the 4 objectives of this study. The first objective would be to compare and to analyze the format of 2 glossaries in the field of engineering. One of the fields is English applied to industrial design and product development in its correspondent degree, as you can see on the slide. And the second glossary would be identified from the English for telecommunications engineering, also corresponding to the correct master's degree. The second objective would be to identify the most common definition structures that students used. The third objective would be to identify as well the most frequent mistakes that students made when elaborating those definitions. And finally, the fourth objective would be to register whether these ESP students shared recurrent terms, expressions, and acronyms, since they were really coming from different engineering fields. Now, regarding the methodology, we have used a qualitative research approach to identify, as you know, the more useful strategies that students can use to learn ESP vocabulary. And to do so, we have used 2 instruments. On the one hand, the 2 glossaries, as we have introduced. So we will present the instructions, the design, and how these unique final products are produced by our students. And the second instrument was the anonymous survey that we conducted and shared with our students in November 2021. Finally, we would like to mention that the time set for this online glossary was between 10 to 12 weeks in the academic year 2021-2022. Now, we move to the findings section, and we will start providing data regarding the survey. And the number of participants who took part in this project were 44 participants in total, 23 women, 20 men, and 1 other. And as you can also see on this slide, 33 students were from the degree in engineering and industrial design, and 11 students were from the master's degree in telecommunications engineering. Regarding the strategies that students mostly used to learn vocabulary, we introduced this question on the survey, and we asked students what strategies they found useful. We provided students with a selection of possible strategies, such as online glossaries, flashcards, monolingual list of words, etc. And we also asked students to add any additional strategy that they may also use during their learning process. And the results, the results suggest that the online glossaries are really the first strategy that students used. So 36% of the respondents consider the glossaries as the most common strategy for them, followed by a list of words and also visual materials. In relation to the other strategies that students added as extra, and we did not include on the survey, they also mentioned that they learned vocabulary by listening and speaking activities, by doing these activities, by reading technical texts, from their scientific papers, really oriented in their professional fields, and also by watching videos and tutorials and documentaries online, for example. Regarding the survey, there was another interesting question that inquired about students' perspectives on their ESP learning progress. And as you can see, 86% of the participants confirmed that they were satisfied with their learning progress. Also, another important finding in this study is, of course, the most common definition structures that students used in these online glossaries. And we have identified 5 different more common structures. The first one, as you can see here on the slide, is the structure beginning with the indefinite article a or an, followed by the concept itself, then the verb to be, and then the definition. And the second most common structures are really the ones that introduce the impersonal subject pronoun, it is, followed by different adjectives to describe the concept, and then the relative clause that, which was most common or more common than the relative clause who and which. Now we wanted to show you some examples for structure number 1. As you can see, for example, the term algorithm is a noun category term. You can see the pronunciation here, and then the definition for structure number 1. An algorithm is the list of instructions and rules of a computer needs to do to complete a task. In the next slide, we also wanted to show you an example of a structure number 2, also extracted from the online glossary in relation to the concept toll-free, which is also a noun. This is the category of the term. And as you can see, it is a type of call that is free for the person who is calling. Also, in relation to the findings, we also wanted to share in this study the common mistakes that students had, and they were classified in different categories: use of English, vocabulary, punctuation, sentence structure, wrong word, and spelling. And one example, as you can read on the slide, would be the term fetch. And here we have a mistake related to use of English. So you should read, it refers, no, to the latest changes. So now we approach the final conclusions of this study. And we can conclude that the online glossary is a ubiquitous, constructive, and cool task that promote the enhancement of a student's most current technical expressions in accurate definitions and examples in context, with constructive feedback also from the teachers, and also language expressions to improve their definitions. We also conclude that there were 5 most common definition structures. As you remember, we have provided examples of the 2 most common ones. And we can also add that the online glossary is a unique piece of cooperative learning for each of these ESP course that we run every academic year. So even the same course, you know, for example, in English for Industrial Design, will have a unique, different glossary in 2022 compared to 2023 academic year, for example. And finally, we would like to add further, you know, research and explorations that we would like to conduct in the future to maybe identify neologisms and also Anglicisms that these ESP students may use, no, in their professional fields. Also, we very briefly wanted to acknowledge that this study is part of a research that we conduct here at the Universidad de Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, entitled Competencias Transversales desde la EIIC para su ecosistema social, which is related to engineering students in our university context, and it is being conducted from 2021 to 2023. This is the slide for references. And finally, we are very grateful if you would like to share any comments or any questions with us. You please write us an email, and we will be very happy to respond as soon as possible. Thank you for your time. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.